You're watching the Men's Under-21 World Lacrosse Championship on ESPN. Our first semifinal comes your way as 2-seeded Canada takes the field against 3-seeded Australia. And with that, good afternoon and welcome back once again to Limerick, Ireland. I'm Ralph Bednarczyk. Canada, since losing their opening game to the United States 7-5, has continued to ascend, building up, averaging goals now in the mid-teens. And a big reason for that, the extra possessions they've gotten from their terrific face-off man, Bo Columbus of Robert Morris. He has greatly benefited these last 10 days working alongside Canadian face-off legend and assistant coach Jeff Snyder, and he's taken his game to a new level just in this short period. For the Aussies, they had to dig deep yesterday. Attackman Connor McDonough looked like he was lost to the tournament. He is playing now with a torn MCL, making his return after 4 days yesterday in a come-from-behind win over Japan, where he had 2 goals and an assist in the fourth quarter. The Aussies will need that kind of spirit to push the Canadians today. A berth in the gold medal game on Saturday night is on the line. Canada and Australia is next on ESPN+. Here's Canada's Matt Brown, Denver associate head coach. This is his 3rd stint coaching on the Canadian junior national team. Was the head coach in 16, the assistant in 12, and pursuing Canada's first gold medal. They'll need to win today. And Gavin Levy, head coach of Australia, has been a part of the Australian lacrosse circuit as a 3rd-generation lacrosse player for a long time, also a fireman and electrician by trade. The winner to advance to Saturday night's gold medal game against either United States or Haudenosaunee. That game will get going tonight, 7 p.m. local time. 67 degrees, partly cloudy, still very windy. Nick Schmidt from the United States does the honors with Alex Hughes of Belgium, Bill Doherty of the States. Same for Pat Hill and Rick McCarrick. Bo Columbus of Canada is going to see as many as 3 different face-off guys for Australia. And a big game changer for the Aussies yesterday was Gavin Levy pulling out of his back pocket his close defenseman Edgar Ford to face off and change the trajectory of the game. And they ended up shutting out Japan in the fourth quarter after trailing 6-4 going into it. Ron Gavori will face off first for the Aussies against Columbus. And Columbus with a clean win. Knocked away by Thomas Richards, who swarms him for Australia. Gavori momentarily had the opportunity. And here's Australia with Sam Bunches able to deal it back to their starting goalie today. This is Lachlan Hodge at 5'8" from Newport, Australia. This is his second start. He started against the Haudenosaunee, full game there, 8 saves in Australia's big win. He also scored a goal, one of the 3 goals that Australia scored in their opening game loss to these Canadians, 18-3. That was exactly a week ago. That was Australia's first game and Canada's second, as that pass, an unforced turnover through the stick of Edison Pike. So for the Aussies, they were already starting from a difficult position as it was. And we'll see how this one shakes out. And the Aussies have been hampered by injuries as much as anybody has in this tournament, Pool A or not. Australia, another ground ball, and they play it back to Lachlan Hodge. As now they search for the clear. The close D has remained the same for the Aussies. Edgar Ford, Brock Gorley, and Samuel Bunches. Ford. Down the middle, the pass picked, intercepted, McConvey. And Thomas McConvey on the ride, the midfielder, will back it up, and Canada will go to work. So for Canada, the starting lineup a little bit different. Ross Scott of Rutgers, Owen Hiltz of Syracuse are there, but Noah Manning of Denver makes his first start of the tournament, coming off of 4 goals yesterday against Ireland. Brock Haley, Graydon Hogg, Thomas McConvey, the first midfield for Matt Brown. And Manning has played consistently as the 4th attackman, so he gets the start today. We'll see plenty of Carter Page, I'm sure. McConvey, as he takes it in, he hits pipe. Canada fetches the long rebound. Haley the sweep right. And pulling it back there, Hogg looking for something better. Canada yesterday, 17-7 over Ireland in their quarterfinals. Spirited game. Ireland really came out and competed. And they're a team with a good mix of NCAA players, high school players. In tight, that is Ross Scott. Scott found the little window, and he starts the scoring 1-0. And Scott able to beat Edgar Ford, caught leaning the other direction. And a big difference should Canada advance to Saturday night, the way Ross Scott has gotten assimilated with this entire offense. He had 4-3 yesterday against Ireland. He was held to 1-1 against the U.S., but it was really more about the lack of ball carry time for Scott that game. Columbus starts the 4-on-3. Hiltz brings it down. Holding offensively Josh Ferry for a moment. The pole out of Loyola. And it is Edgar Ford that starts out on Scott. Ford goes 6'5", 215. And was a one-time verbal commitment to Division III Lynchburg. Then the pandemic occurred. He went back home to Australia after spending his senior year at Rutgers Prep, but never got a game in to get some more film out, and he is impressed here for the Aussies. Second midfield, Adam Poitras. Samuel English with the sweep right. That continues. He may have grazed pipe. 2 posts for Canada. And as I touched on in the game against Ireland, Canada went through a shooting slump. 3 for 16 shooting in the second quarter. A number of pipes and perhaps some forced shots. Poitras all the way to goal. He misses the look. And as Matt Brown noted, that they were able to shoot their way out of that slump. And Ireland also played with great energy. He wants to make sure they get the credit they deserve to hold down Canada for a while. Shovel shot, Noah Manning. welcome to the starting lineup in the semifinals. 2-0 Canada. Scott on the feed. Well, Matt Brown inserting his Denver sophomore into the lineup from Victoria, BC. And he noted to me before the tournament, he's much more of a ball carrier than people give him credit for. He's an excellent inside player, like the most high-level Canadian players are. 8 goals, 3 assists this year at Denver. Well, we have seen him move so well, subtly off ball into spots and create goals for himself that way before even receiving it. Columbus stood up by Gavori, but this time the wing gets the job done for Canada, Andrew Dalton. When these two teams met last Thursday in that 18-3 final, Canada blitzed the Aussies. It was 6-0. And Australia, again, in that one, had the ball maybe once. Gavin Levy of Australia hoping that they can at least slow that down, prevent the big runs, get to the second half, and perhaps start to climb uphill. Scott. Lachlan Hodge, he'll be a sophomore at St. Ambrose. That's a program in Iowa. McConvey off the quick whistle. So he dodges past Rubens. And Thomas McConvey certainly is going to have a great case for the all-world team. And that's the players that make up the 5 teams in Pool A. The crowds have gotten better here as the tournaments began, particularly after last weekend. People trying to stay through this weekend in the gold medal and the overall medal rounds. I hope they packed a little heavier after we went through a heat wave. The real Irish weather that it is known for has appeared. That ball out of bounds. Canada could not get to it. They touched it last. So the Aussies with their first true possession. Here's the Rutgers-bound Mitchell Baker. And for the Aussies, they will start Connor McDonough on this second set offensively, wearing a heavy knee brace on his right knee. But it's Baker with Ethan Moyer, Harry Gibson, the first midfield. Lim, Pike, and Buchanan on the attack. And they'll sub on McDonough consistently. For Canada, Caleb Creaser once again in goal from Huntsville, Ontario. Started all but 2 games in this tournament. And he plays at Lehigh. And the Canadians defensively with Jack Follows, Alex Marinier, and Levi Virch. Call against the Australians playing without a stick. So Canada skips it ahead. Here's Ty English. Owen Hiltz off the nice face dodge. Looks for something better. Swung to Manning. Canada has been to the last 5 gold medal games. Lost all of them to the United States, including a heartbreaker in 2016, where they had a big lead on the U.S. and could not hold on. The U.S. winning in the final seconds. Scott has Manning, and Manning shows that inside finishing. Just comes across as a guy that's very easy to play with. So Scott and Manning connect for the second time. Timeout, Australia. Canada yesterday eventually separated from Ireland. It was an 8-4 score at halftime. And then Bo Columbus, en route to shutting out the Irish of the face-off X. I'll get more into that. But Ross Scott, here's a selection of his 4 goals on the game. 4 goals and 3 assists. Colgate's Joe Walsh in net for the Irish. This was particularly very nice. Dropping the head of the stick and a little bouncer. And then that pickup. And Canada just never relented. And like a good team, they forgot about some of their shooting struggles and kept going at it. The final face-off number to allow those Scott goals was 22-0 Australia over Ireland. And there have been some lopsided ones. Yesterday, the United States against Puerto Rico, 23-3. And the Pool A teams, particularly in the specialist positions, have truly have separation in personnel. So as Columbus continues, and perhaps a benefit to him being the lone face-off guy here for Canada, he's gotten every rep, and that has forced Jeff Snyder, the assistant coach, to face off along with him. And that is insight that you just can't buy. Columbus charges ahead, takes the shot, Hodge the save. Bo still looking for his first goal. It would be now as a new 21-year-old, having his birthday earlier in the week. So Hodge to start the clear. No shot clock in the international game. And right down the middle, and the easy pass to teammate Doug Brooks. He himself back from injury. So the Aussies injury list, we see McDonough here, now back with the brace on the right knee. Their leading goal scorer, Lucas Conchwara, very similar actually to Noah Manning. 11 goals in the tournament. And he got hurt early against the United States. So he's played about 3+ games. He's done for the tournament with a serious shoulder injury. Doug Brooks looked like he was done. He was run over by a Haudenosaunee player, exited. He came back briefly yesterday, gonna play a little bit more today, and the same for McDonough. And Gavin Levy says, you know, I haven't seen anything like it. Guys just refuse to sit out. Lynn, good anticipation by Creaser. Creaser causes another turnover. And while he has been solid in goal, he has been awesome out of goal. Transition for Dalton. As he slowed up, finds Hiltz. So Andrew Dalton thought better of it and then locates a shooter. 5-0 Canada. We have a flag down after the goal. The goal will stand. And it was going to be offsides on Australia. hold against the Aussies. Australia still looking for their first shot. Just one true possession where they've been able to work it around. Under 2 minutes left, first quarter. Brock Haley of Brooklyn, Ontario, via the University of Vermont. Flip pass, Hogg, Manning, gears up the hands, Hodge the save high. And the ground ball, Daniel Bowater, the D-midi for the Aussies, outlet ahead. And this might be the area for Australia. Can they find something quick? And Bunches, though, did not have the next pass. Lim for Baker. And the Canadians shut out Mitchell Baker in that lopsided 18-3 win. And can he be more involved today? And of course, the story worth noting, his dad, Chris Baker, played for Canada at the 1990 World Championships in Perth as a faceoff man. He tried to feed into the crease area for Pike, and the flag out against Canada. Unnecessary roughness on Jack Follows of Cornell. So Australia will have a man up. And we'll see if they will hold it to try to avoid a face-off with Columbus at the X. But there is a lot of time, 31 or so seconds. And you hate to completely shortchange your man up unit. The Aussies are going to hang back. By the way, Chris Baker, the Canadian, is wearing all Aussie apparel, I'm told, today, just like he was last time out with his son facing his native Canada. 5-0 Canadians. Noah Manning making his first start of the tournament. Couple of goals. Ross Scott 1 and 2. Canada looking to take the next step into the gold medal game Saturday night. We're back with the second quarter from Limerick, Ireland on ESPN+.
shoot right in front of that goal cage.
Hang on to that lead the entire second half. Beautiful shot again.
Just happy to be a part of it right now for all the younger generations and hopefully pave the way for them so little girls younger than me can become Olympians.
There's a look at the wind conditions here in Limerick, Ireland, and it has stayed that way. This is not just one little gust. So while it hasn't impacted the game, those are the conditions, but at least it is cool. Man up for close to 30 seconds. The tail end of a 1 minute against Canada to close out the first quarter. So the Aussies chose not to shoot. They avoid the face-off. Baker looking to feed down low into the crease, and it's knocked down and taken away. Fine defense. That's Michael Grace of Hamilton, Ontario, who has started a couple games for Canada and their lone non-Division I player at Rochester Institute of Technology. But his story is awesome for someone that only picked up a pole in January of 2021. Recruited to RIT's Jay Kuhn as a short stick. As he told me this week, he did not have any Division I interest. And now playing games for Canada, might start the gold medal game. Ross Scott this time against Gorley. Flag down against Australia. And Scott, I think, was trying to pass. Instead, it goes right to Hodge. So we get a 30-second interference against Australia's Edgar Ford. Canada's first man up. McConvey. Hiltz up top. Haley. Skip. McConvey gets closer and then finishes. He passed up. Pretty good look for one. Even better, just a few more strides in. So as he whips it past Hodge, Canada moves it along very smoothly. And McConvey has two. So in both meetings in Limerick, Canada has jumped on the Aussies 6-0. Canada had pushed their lead a week ago 13-1. Harry Gibson off the face-off, pestered by Noah Manning in the ride. And he'll reverse course and go back through Ford. Arlen Lim, trail check by Hiltz, jarred it free momentarily. So for Australia, they've had to do a lot of adjusting in this tournament. Baker started the tournament at attack, now primarily midfield. There's Dylan Harari shooting. And they've had a couple of players step up, the Ethans, Ethan Moyer, Ethan Buchanan. Buchanan, the youngest player, just turned 19. Moyer also just 19. Crease roll, Lim, a bouncer, sprawling save, Creaser. And pursuing the ground ball, Canada. Australian offensive coordinator Mark Mangan played on 3 World Championships teams, 94, 98, and then 06, and one under-19 squad before going to play at Adelphi on Long Island. And that pass in transition, unforced turnover by Canada. Samuel English sails it past Scott. And in the bigger picture for the Aussies, Gavin Levy noting how he is starting to look at younger and younger players in this evaluation process. Their youth players are getting more coaching at a younger age. That's making a difference. He's coaching less lacrosse IQ than a previous cycle. And he thinks the next group of under-19s is going to be something special. Ferry looking for a goal. Hodge the save. And the rebound, Dalton could not hockey style bang it in. Well, Dalton with one swipe would have had a goal. And Josh Ferry trying to carry and get involved. He's played in the total of 6 games at Loyola his first 2 years. As Australia shows a zone look, Canada's seen a lot of it, and Owen Hiltz is the perfect zone buster. He is feasted on this right side against zones. Up to 14, and I would estimate about 6 of those goals have been exactly like that against a zone defense. Columbus rips it away from Gavori. Canada back to the first midfield with Graydon Hogg. Brock Haley was first team All-America East this year at Vermont, along with McConvey. That's McConvey up top. Bowater tried to give him a jab, McConvey misses. Scott, see motored through, his pass deflected, and Richards able to scoop. Impressive poll for Australia. The nephew of head coach Gavin Levy was a midfielder growing up. Canada turns over the Aussies. They have a 7-0 lead, 5-0 after one, and they have commanded possessions. (7-1) Canada in face-offs. Hogg chased by Rubens, the D-midi. He separates and then scores. 8-0 as Hogg, even after his first few steps, even able to accelerate there with the ball to prevent Rubens from catching up. At Albany this year, Hogg had a team leading 26-12, 38 points. As a freshman, started on attack alongside America East Offensive Player of the Year Jacob Patterson and the very good Tahoka Nanticoke. And what an attack unit that could have been for Coach Marr at Albany had there been a season. Australia is still subbing through the box. Matt Wright was hoping for the ball. He'd like to get involved. before he is called back. And Canada will bring back now their second midfield unit. And Matt Brown saying yesterday it's also about experimentation, the subtle things. And of course, executing at the very highest level, the right decision at the right time, every time. That's a good decision. Manning on the cut, but he was in the crease. Samuel English found him. But more good offense from Canada. Gibson, as Hiltz doesn't give up on the ride. Gibson reverses course. Someone lost a stick head. Gibson lost the ball. Flag is out. And it'll be a hold. Manning is the one that lost his stick head. Let's hope he finds it. He's got 2 goals in this game with that. Hiltz called for the 32nd hold. Australia with its second man up. Moyer on the left wing. Buchanan is a lefty. There on the right. Now Moyer further into high crease area. Shot blocked. Baker is able to save it. Pike tries to save it again, and it's out of bounds. You know, the defense from Canada has proven that it's very physical with good size and athleticism. They can mix and match with the physicality, thumpers such as a Reed Kurtz, who's also very versatile. The rangy and athletic Alex Marinier. Creaser stays very calm. As Ty English circles. And Canada has it along with an 8-0 lead. We'll hit 3 minutes left, first half. Haley faking that flip pass. Hiltz open, and Hiltz scores. And his feet were barely set. Oh, this is something else. We're gonna get a better look at it. Hiltz scores, and he probably be the first to tell you I wasn't exactly really prepared for it. But he still is able to catch and slightly off on his timing, finish it. Columbus through a crowd, picks up another face-off win. Loose ball push against Australia. Well, should it be Canada and the United States? The face-off battle in the first meeting was 13-2 United States. That was Jake Nassau primarily facing off, where he was 10 of 11. Here in this one, it's 8 out of 9 for Canada. But it's been Alex Stathakis since that game for the U.S., and he has dominated every opponent since that game. Faced off a little bit. He was 4-0 against Columbus in that one. English, good moves. Turn down the look. Hiltz swings it for Scott now on the wing. Roll back from Carter Page out of St. Joe's in Philly. English then redodges and has the goal. A little bit of a better angle there from Samuel English. 10-0 Canada.
Let's get it out 10-0 over Australia with 40 seconds left in the first quarter.
The last one might have been a force, and this one with a couple extra degrees on the angle, and English has it. Sam, the oldest of 4 boys in the family, with their dad, who is here in attendance. Dad, Andrew, played football at the University of British Columbia as a wide receiver in the CFL, a slot receiver for 7 years. And Sam and Ty kind of playing a slot role as D middies for Canada. English playing second mid offensively as well. Matt Wright fed it along for Manning. Now the shot, that's pocketed. Ross Scott.
Ross Scott with the goal for Canada. That puts Canada up 11-0 over Australia.
Wright decisive in the pickup there. And Manning on the feed. 2 more for Ross Scott. Canada with Casey Wilson having the first stab of the ground ball. Richards chases, and that's it for the first half. Canada pitching a shutout. Australia just 1 face-off win. Canada, after getting a test yesterday from Ireland, who would not back down. And Canada today has come out determined and very serious. 11-0 at halftime. We'll come back and show you how the Canadians, with precision, have gotten this done on ESPN+.
It's coming. The world is coming to San Diego. 30 nations, 30 teams. Only one will be crowned world champion. There's nothing like playing for your country. This is the pinnacle of sport. Be here as legacies are forged and history is made.
Well, Canada shooting at about 50% in that first half, and there was nothing that could slow them down, including at the face-off X, as we show you the highlights. First possession. This is Ross Scott. Didn't need to get topside much. Then at 2-0, Thomas McConvey off the quick whistle, took it in, got past to D-Mini. Late first quarter, the drop-off, Andrew Dalton in transition, locating Owen Hiltz. Graydon Hogg, look at that little separation he created. Hogg made it 8-0. Then Samuel English, later in a possession where he would redodge at 10-0. And then Scott from Noah Manning off of a face-off win. 11-0 Canada. We'll go through the numbers when we come back.
Fasten your seatbelt.
The game you've always loved just found a new gear.
Introducing World Lacrosse Sixes.
It's speed and scoring,
Tempo and transition.
athleticism and action.
It's big-time energy packed onto a smaller playing surface.
It's the game you've always loved, brought to you at warp speed.
It's lacrosse on the Autobahn.
Don't blink. This is World Lacrosse Sixes.
Well, the numbers heavily tilted to Canada, as you might imagine. 23-2 in shots. 9-1 Bo Columbus at the face-off X against a couple of different Aussies. So for Canada, 11 of 23 shooting. Australia 0 for 2 on man up, trying to generate some chances and get rid of that 0. But it is all Canada, a focused team that is not messing around perhaps after yesterday. Ireland pushed them to an 8-4 first half score. Third quarter coming up. So as Canada takes the field, they're 30 minutes away from playing in yet another gold medal game for the 6th straight junior tournament. And for Australia, they'll go back to Aaron Hill, who started this tournament as their primary face-off guy. And we saw a lot of Ron Gavori and Hill alternate. Then Edgar Ford saved the day in the second half, the close D-man against Japan. Japan, another great story in the lacrosse world. Their women's team finishing 5th in Towson, Maryland. And their men's under 21 as Australia's Douglas Brooks had the face-off momentarily. And Owen Hiltz comes up with it. And Japan, out of Pool B, they went 3-0. Narrow win over Puerto Rico, 10-9. And Japan today defeating Israel. As that's in the consolation portion of this championship bracket. And Japan fascinating because their entire team, all but one player who started playing when he was 15, everybody else started their freshman year of college. And in about 3 years, they look extremely, extremely skilled and have IQ. Just don't have a lot of game experience. Hogg down to the crease, knocked down by Richards. Manning. Then Manning took the shot on the new Australia goalie. That's Josiah Bidwell-Barton, who's been their primary goalie here in the tournament. He'll give Canada a different look at 6'3", 230. He had made 10 saves in that loss a week ago against the Canadians. Hogg now continues, keeps it with the left, and then a late flag coming out. That's Australia's Douglas Brooks heading off. So Canada, man up. Haley swings it out of the stick of McConvey. Canada scraps to try to recover. And it's Australia with the ball. Bouncing it there, Brock Gorley to the stick of Bidwell-Barton. And Canada will be 0 for 1. Well, Bidwell-Barton put in a lot of work to get ready. Dropped about 30 pounds ahead of these World Championships. Still has hopes. College coaches will take a look at him. Playing for the smaller Subiaco program, admiring some outstanding bigger goalies. Scott Rogers, Jack Kelly. As he fires the clear, and that's past the stick of Lim. But Bidwell-Barton showed he is very capable in this tournament. Waking up 4 a.m. 5 days a week, going to the gym before his work doing construction, and then would also train those same weeknights all the way through Monday through Friday for about 6 months to get himself ready, as Australia does have pretty good goaltending depth. Their flag carrier, Travis Wolff, started against the United States, played 3 quarters, 5 saves. That's your third goalie. That's a nice player. And then today's starter, Lachlan Hodge, known for his clearing. English down to the crease. Hiltz was too deep, even for him. Poitras. Scott drew the double. Again, active stick Richards deflecting that pass to take a shot away from Poitras. Page. Slide came from the middle. Hiltz popping out. English patient. Hiltz the shot. Bidwell Barton the save. So Australia knocked down to the possession and a recovery, and they get a stop. So as Bowater comes across, Baker has been held without a shot in this game for Australia, and he had to be very involved for the Aussies. But the possessions have just not been there. So the Aussies will work it around once, take some pressure with the defense. Lim on the drive. Pike. McDonough attempting to set the screen. Rolling back Ethan Moyer. Lim works on Dalton. Ferry chases him off. Australia still with just those 2 shots midway through the 3rd quarter. And that's very good aggression from Canada, but we get multiple whistles. Ball was saved, preventing an over and back. And then the most physical defender for Canada, Levi Virch at 6'2", 205 from St. Joe's, PA. Leaned on the midfielder and made sure Canada got it back. Next year, St. Joe's plays in the new Atlantic 10 Men's Lacrosse Conference. That'll start in 2023 with an auto bid. Levi Virch and St. Joe's had their best season ever. Program record 14 wins. Under Canada assistant, St. Joe's head coach Taylor Ray. McConvey. Fired into the crease by Haley, but knocked out. Again, I think the stick of Thomas Richards has been so good here. Rubens, and Rubens elected to hold on to it, almost cost him, before Harry Gibson has the pickup. Australia with the 12 turnovers. Most of them in the midfield. They just haven't had the ball enough on offense to turn it over at a high volume. So Connor McDonough, wondered how he might look today, asking him after the game. And after he played a few minutes in the 2nd quarter yesterday, flag is out against Canada. Check on the flag. Cross check on Matt Wright. Australia with their 3rd man up. But Connor McDonough playing for the first time in 4 days after being hurt in the opener last Thursday against Canada. Then came back yesterday, and Gavin Levy was just marveled that he just didn't want to be a man-up attackman playing with a torn MCL. He takes the shot there, save made by Creaser. He wanted to play full-time. And then it's turned over by Australia. And saying this is once in a lifetime. Gavin Levy has seen both he and Doug Brooks be warriors that if these were high school or college seasons, no way these guys would be playing. This is an event once every 4 years, as Caleb Creaser. And Creaser able to keep away from Buchanan there. And a flag is out. And Creaser draws a slash on Ethan Buchanan. Well, look at this run from Caleb Creaser. Creaser became a goalie by accident in his early development. Someone else is missing. A lot of the times the way that goes in travel or club lacrosse. And he plays forward in box lacrosse during his leisure. Longtime member of the Huntsville Hawks. Skip pass, Haley. Could not finish. So for Canada, they have been held scoreless for 10+ minutes. That pass into Scott. Diagonal and down to the crease area from Haley. 12-0, Scott's third. So Haley with the great feed. So Scott comes up with a goal on man up off the sneak. Canada 1 for 2 man up, 12-0. And can Australia perhaps win a quarter today? Columbus. And it'll be the push against Australia. Scott zips by the two-man game and then scores. That is all world. Scott with 4. And Australian defenders wondering what to do. Just the idea of a screen gave Australia some pause. And Scott with 2 quick ones, 13-0. And here is a clean face-off win, Aaron Hill. As he gets it back to Ford. So important development for the Aussies. Back from a January knee injury. Australia pinned along the sideline, and it'll stay with Australia. So the Crocodiles back on the attack. It's 2-0 against them, third quarter. Can they perhaps come away with a quarter where they tie the Canadians? Something to take with them into the bronze medal game, as they take on the loser between tonight's game coming up, 7 o'clock local time in Limerick, the Haudenosaunee taking on the United States. The Haudenosaunee having to survive yesterday's quarterfinal against England, as they turned over the ball, and it ended up being after 2 illegal stick checks and then a slash, 6-on-3 against Haudenosaunee. And somehow they got The one shot from England made the save, and they ran the clock out. Loose ball in the high crease area, and Pike could not get the shot off. The other way, Canada. As they lob it in, here comes Alex Marinier of Burlington. Marinier to the point man Manning. Scott. Australia scrambling to get back in. Poitras. English, Poitras. That's the Owen Hilt spot. 14-0 Canada.
Adam Poitras with the goal for Canada. That is going to be 13-0 over Australia with 7.5 seconds left in the third quarter.
So Canada shooting from that right side will be a senior at Loyola and the captain of the Whitby Warriors in Ontario Junior A. How about this schedule for Adam Poitras and the several Canada players that are going to be playing in the historic Minto Cup, with the semifinals beginning this coming Monday, August 22nd. His Whitby Warriors take the field Monday night. Canada is leaving on Sunday. Gavori, another face-off win for Australia. Get more into that in the fourth quarter. Canada is held to 3 goals in the third. The only question is, will they pitch a shutout? 14-0 into the fourth. The Canadians looking for a great finish to this one and a smooth one in the semifinals of the men's under-21 World Lacrosse Championship.
Have you booked that trip to Ireland yet?
Press the green button and visit the island of Ireland. See Ireland.com.
This is the bracket, the championship bracket, semifinals today, Canada and Australia. As you're watching, then the Haudenosaunee and the United States, you can watch tonight on ESPNU at 7 p.m. local time, 2 o'clock Eastern time back in the States. Gold medal game will be Saturday nights. Ralph Bednarczyk back with you here in Limerick, 14-0 Canada. They were held to just 3 goals in that third quarter. They are out shooting the Aussies 32-3. Australia a little bit better facing off in the third quarter. It's now 10 out of 14, and Hill has made an impact since coming in. So that number now 10-5 Canada. Here is Pike. So for Australia, that 10-5 number earlier certainly would have been significant, at least that kind of percentage where it is not heavily tilted. At halftime was 9-2, but particularly early on, 5-0 end of the first quarter today. 6-0 the first meeting. Australia just not able to get any sort of rhythm, even to get a first quarter goal and establish some confidence. Lim swarmed. And the ground ball recovered by Canada as they outlet ahead. Reed Kurtz went down the sideline with that look, looking to find Ty English, and Canada gives it back. And the Aussies turn it over, so Canada coming out showing zone as a little bit of a change-up, as they showed that against the United States, mixing defense as well. Here comes Michael Grace. Drops it off for Hiltz. 15-0 as Grace able to push transition. Grace here at 6'5", came to camp in December of 21, but was initially cut then by Matt Brown and staff. They watched him again in the springtime as Hiltz gets the goal. They watched Grace again through the spring, star at RIT. And Sean Watkins from RIT as an assistant is on this Canadian staff. He became a Division III third-team All-American this year. They invited him to the June Langley camp to try to figure out the last few roster spots and provide some competition, and he blew the coaching staff away. And he also can play with a short stick, as I touched on before. He's been a lifelong short stick player until January of 21. Canada's ride gets them the ball back. And we've seen versatility be so crucial when you're playing with just 20 players. And you can start to hear the wind here howling in Limerick. Hiltz, that's a howler. Past the new goalie, Travis Wolf, in there for Australia, 16-0.
Putting Canada up 16-0 with 10 minutes and
So Hiltz has added his 4th and 5th. He's planting himself on that right side on both ends in this tournament. Great credit to Ireland Lacrosse and the people of the University of Limerick for having this field hold up as well as it has. Hold called against Columbus. So this has been a face-off revelation for the Aussies. Aaron Hill, couple of wins, and then the call against Columbus. But this field, like the two others, they've averaged 4 games a day. And I think around the crease area, it's held up pretty well. Fortunately, we've had some light rain, no real major downpours. The face-off area on this natural grass surface beat up just a bit, but otherwise it has not affected anything. I think you're still getting true bounce shots. The University of Limerick here is considered to be a dedicated sports science and a sports-centric university. They have outstanding facilities. Got a chance to tour them, check out their pool, which hosts regional championships, where they have stands and have some of the bigger events in Ireland. Skip to Baker, moves it along, shot by Gibson, that's blocked. Then Baker tried to feed it down to the crease and it was blocked again. One of the Canadian defenders just took a ball square on. And I think that was Josh Ferry. McDonough, so Canada continues to work on and show zone here. McDonough, shot never got through. That follow-up, that's a save made by Creaser, stopping Ethan Moyer. Perhaps the best scoring opportunity for the Aussies today. Trent DeChico, Manning, Poitras, down low, they get a goal for Ferry. So one of their poles pinching ahead, and if he was the one that took that block shot, it's going to feel much better now. Ferry from Guelph, Ontario. Long pole midi, alternating with Matt Wright. Another player that came through Edge Lacrosse and the Hill Academy in Ontario. This time the call against Australia's Ron Gavori. Australia in the Junior Championship has finished second a couple of times, 1992 and 96, losing to the U.S., taking home silvers. They hosted in 99 in Adelaide, Australia, finishing 5th that year. Haley, that was a good skip. Skip back, and there's Hogg, planted in that same side. Look at the Canadians just whip the ball around. The ball moving faster than any active sticks of Australia. And perhaps another experiment subtly for Canada to move Hogg up to the attack for a stretch rather than Hiltz. But Canada has feasted off of skip passes that right side today. Of course, very box lacrosse-like, one of the staples of it, to have a terrific lefty on the right side. Columbus dealt it back to right. Australia in 1996 had Peter Inge, who starred on that team, along with his brother James Inge. Peter Inge became the first non-NCAA player to play Major League Lacrosse and be drafted. But after 92 and 96, Australia has only captured 1 bronze. That was in 2003. So that's what they will play for coming up Saturday afternoon against the loser of the United States and the Haudenosaunee. Haley tiptoes, sets up Hogg. So he's got consecutive goals and just explosion off of the setup. And Haley elects not to force it, pinches in the defense a little bit, and Hogg today not a whole lot of dodging. His first goal was like that, then these last two have been straight step downs. Canada with a tournament high 19 goals. As the face-off win by Gavori of Australia. And Canada is able to win it back. And the Australians come up with pressure. Out of goal, Pike spoils the shutout. In goal for Canada, and just moved in Aidan Walsh. And Walsh held on to it too long. Takeaway by Ethan Buchanan. He finds Edison Pike. Pike, a very shifty attackman, studying to be a chiropractor through the Williamstown Lacrosse Club. And he says he has experienced a big journey training on his own to get here. While his studies, he'll be a second-generation chiropractor, as dad is one too, attending the Australian College, specializing in that. And Australia on fire, facing off. And with this game being out of hand as Lachlan Bound comes up with it. Australia's best game of this tournament came against the Haudenosaunee, 13-7 victory. And their defense handled the Haudenosaunee very well off ball, competitive in the face-off X. But in that game, they had their crease attackman, Lucas Kuchwara, 5 goals and an assist. He was big time against the Haudenosaunee zone. They won't have him unless something radically changes. There's a save on Ethan Buchanan by Aidan Walsh, and he outlets ahead. And here comes Denver's Casey Wilson. So should that be the matchup, and a rematch against the Haudenosaunee would be a very good bronze medal game. We'll see if Canada bothers shooting here. Yesterday, 8-4 against Ireland. Ireland very pumped up during their halftime talk. Their coaches trying to rile them up and get them to believe. Canada very stoic and perhaps hearing some of that. They shot just 3 for 16 in the second quarter yesterday. Credit to Joe Walsh, also the goalie of Ireland, who played very well in the first half. And Canada perhaps not shooting the ball as confidently. They did hit a couple of pipes. And Canada came out and they grabbed the first 4 possessions quickly. Made it 12-4. And they look very focused and determined heading into Saturday night. Canada, impressively, with a lopsided score, heads back to the gold medal game for the 6th straight junior championship. They overwhelm Australia today in Limerick, Ireland, 19-1. Canada awaits the winner between the United States and the Haudenosaunee.
United States versus Haudenosaunee at 7 p.m.
Owen Hiltz with 5 goals and an assist. Ross Scott was awesome as well. One of those two could get the famed Chris Sanderson jacket presented to them from the previous winner for the player of the game in honor of the late, great Canadian goaltending legend. 19-1 is the final. For Canada, they look ready. Now they'll need to take their game even to another level if it is the U.S. That skip pass to McConvey. Owen Hiltz along the right side. Shot the ball great. Ross Scott along the doorstep. Scott for the game, finishing with 4 goals. Graydon Hogg with 3 more. And Canada poured it on today, 19-1. For our entire crew, Director Mikey O'Sullivan, my name Ralph Bednarczyk, reminding you, game coming up, the Haudenosaunee taking on the United States at 7 o'clock Limerick time. So let's update the bracket as Canada advances to the gold medal game. Our continuing coverage gets going in just about an hour and a half. For our entire crew, Ralph Bednarczyk saying so long and goodbye again, and talk to you soon from Limerick, Ireland on ESPN+.